Welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! Storytime with your host, that Craig fellow.
Well, hello there, my darlings. How's it going? My name is Craig. I was just going through a deck of mine and enjoying a beverage when I wanted to tell a story. So this is going to be a new segment on the channel called Yu-Gi-Oh! Storytime with Craig. Now, this is going to be the story of how locals made me cry. Kind of. I have a friend named Harry, and he occasionally comes over to vacation in the UK. And about 3 or 4 months ago he did, or maybe even a little bit more than that actually, probably like 5 months ago, something like that. It was a few months ago. He came over to vacation in the UK, and he wanted to go to locals with me. He wanted to come meet up with me because we hadn't met in real life yet, and we would Skype a little bit when he was vacationing here, about a week before he wanted to go. And not too many places advertise in the UK, but a few places do. But the only places we could find on the days that he were free were all the way on the other side of London. Now, I'm fine with traveling that far. We did try to find some places closer, but eventually got to the day and we just said, screw it, we'll go there. So we found a place on the other side of London. It was easier for him to get there than me, but it would have been a while to travel for both of us, but we were fine doing it. Now, I didn't quite have enough money to buy the second train ticket I needed, but he offered to pay that little bit extra for me when we got there and met up. And, you know, he's a really cool guy, really nice person. If you're watching, Harry, love you, darling. Now, the station we were meeting up at, which would be kind of in between where we were coming from, where we wanted to go, where we'd meet up, which is Victoria Station. It's quite a big place. I hadn't been there in a long time. I forgot it was a big place. I forgot it had, you know, quite a big overground section. So I said to Harry, okay, I'll meet you. I was thinking of the underground section, so I said, I'll meet you at the top of the stairs, right? Because to me, the only time I'd gone there was when I would, you know, take the underground, and I would go from the underground to outside. And there was just a big set of stairs going from the underground up, right? So I said, yeah, that's what I thought of. I was like, I'll meet you at the top of the stairs. There's usually stairs there that goes from the underground section to the top. And he said, okay, cool. Now, what I hadn't thought of was that this is quite a big place, right? When I got there, I looked around for half an hour. I looked at every stairset I could find. I fucked up. I said, let's meet at the fucking top of the stairs. I decided at this point that, oh god, I can't find Harry. Okay, screw it. What I'm gonna do, I'll go upstairs and I will get a one-way ticket. I could just about pay for that. And I'll try to meet him at the station that we were eventually going to, or the locals. And worst case scenario, if we don't find each other, I'll go to locals on my own, sell some cards to get money to go back, to get a train ticket back. When I got in line for the ticket office, I then got a call through, and like at that point as well, I got like a bunch of missed calls, and then I realized, oh shit, I was underground. He couldn't call me. I don't travel that much in London. I fucked up. He called me, he's like, Craig, where are you? Our train's leaving in like 6 minutes. I was like, shit, I'm in the ticket office, man. Come meet me. He's like, where's the ticket office? I'm like, there's a giant sign that says fucking ticket office. And he's like, oh shit, yeah. So, he eventually came, found me. I, you know, cut under the you know, like, dividing rope line, whatever, and, got in line with me. And, he was like, okay, Craig, I don't know if we have time to wait for this. You know, I don't know if we have time to go through this line to get your ticket. But there's a self-serving place just over there. And I didn't realize it. So I was like, oh yeah, cool. So we went over there. Got online for that. It was much shorter. When we got to the front of the line, there was an old guy, right, that we were waiting to finish so we could go. There was this old guy, right, counting out fucking change into the machine, a coin at a time, to get his ticket. We looked at each other, just like, is this really fucking happening? We've got like 4 minutes left. And what does he do? He drops the fucking money. This old guy drops the coin. So he bends over, picks up the fucking coins, one by one, and, oh god, at the time I was just fucking annoyed. Right? I was frustrated, but like, it's fun. Like, I'm not at him, but at the city, it was like a fucking comedic bit out of a fucking shitty comedy. And I was just, it almost gave me a headache. Eventually, a spot became free on the other side. So, you know, one of the employees there said, okay, there's a spot free on this side for anyone who wants to buy a ticket. So we went around the corner and got me 2 tickets, one there, one back. This was about a minute before our train was bound to leave. I didn't know the platform. Harry said, oh, I know the platform. We ran around the corner, right, weaving and dodging people, and we got to the platform. We thought it was nothing. It was a wrong platform. Then we fucking dashed it around the other corner, and our train had already left. But it's fine, right? We could use our tickets to get the next train. So we sat around for a bit, for about 20 minutes, showed each other our binders and cards. It was hot as hell, so, we were both thirsty, and he wanted to get a drink. I didn't have any money, I didn't care about getting a drink, but I was still thirsty. But he said, it's fine, I'll buy one for you, it can't be that expensive, a bottle of water. It was fucking expensive, it's a train station. So, after looking around to find the cheapest place to buy a drink, he bought a bottle of water, and we shared it. So romantic. And eventually, our train came, right? And we were rushing to get on it, because for some fucking reason, we were still a little bit late, despite the fact that it was right there. I was running along, and we were trying to get on the train, and every carriage was packed, and we wanted to get on one that was a little less packed. As we were running along, I had a spare couple packs of sleeves in one of my cargo pants pockets, because just in case we needed, just in case this was like a strict locals, I hadn't been there before, just in case they demand fresh sleeves, right? They had one pack for me, one pack for him. And somehow my pocket came undone, and as I was running along, they flew out. I went, shit, panicked. I heard them fall. I panicked. I put them back in, and we ran along again. And they fell out again, because I forgot to zip it up. And I picked them up, I'm like, shit. And then we fucking rushed onto a carriage. It was packed. But we did find a place to sit down. He actually sat down opposite me, in between two people. I sat down opposite him, in between two people, and we're both just sitting like this. So we did eventually get on the train. On the way there, we talked about some of the new Metal Foe stuff that had just come out at the time, like Alcahest and Mithril is the 6, I think. So the 6 fusion, 1 fusion, and the Effect Monster and the Quick Play. And we talked about that stuff on the train. It was about probably about an hour train ride to get where we need to go. And he hadn't looked up where to go. I knew where to go. I knew it wasn't that far of a walk from the station we were going to the locals, right? It was held at like a scout center. He was panicky, right? Once we got there, he was like, how long? And I was like, 10 minutes till it starts, don't worry about it. Or till the time said it starts. I wasn't worried. I knew they weren't really going to start if not enough people were there or something. And I knew they wouldn't start directly on the dot. Not many locals are that strict. But he wanted to get there. So like halfway through our walk, he was like, Craig, can we start running? He was like panicking a bit. And I was like, no, I don't really feel like running. And before I could finish my sentence, he was already jogging a little bit. And I jogged along with him. I was like, Harry, calm down a little bit. So we walked a little bit more. And as we got around the corner, the scout center was right in front of us. It wasn't that far. We could see other people walking casually into the center around this time who were going there. But he still said, Craig, quick, let's run a little bit. In case we're late, they might start without us. And I was like, fuck, alright, and he started running anyway. I ran with him. We eventually got there on time. It was a good half an hour after we got on there before the tournament even started. Probably like half an hour, 25 minutes, before they even took listings to start. I didn't actually have any money left, because like I said, I could barely pay for that second train ticket. So Harry paid for my admittance into there, which was really cool for him. So into the tournament, he paid for my, my fee to get in. We hung out with some of the locals there. It was a really cool place. We didn't get to play for too long. We got to play for a few hours, but the first match, I can't remember what Harry was playing. If I remember, I'll put like a link here. It was something that could make rank 4s, because I remember him, because he didn't have a full extra deck, so he was like, Craig, I need some rank 4s. I was like, shit, okay, here's some stuff out of my binder. I was playing Yang Zings. The first match I went up against PK Fire, or Phantomite Burning Abyss. First game, neither of us could get to each other. Like, we were both at a standstill trying to get past each other. Eventually it went to time, and I think he had hit me like once during this, so like it eventually went to time. He had made like a Utopic Future and stolen one of my monsters and hit me with it. And then like the turn before it went to time, I'd like emergency synchroed into Armades, so he couldn't do that. That was the only monster I had, so he couldn't steal the Armades because he couldn't activate the F-Zero. And we were at like kind of a standstill, right? We were both in a good position. It went into time. He burnt me with Barbar. Nothing I could do about it, right? So I lost that. Went to game 2. We couldn't side because it was in time. Again, he burnt me with Barbar. So, that was fine. So next game, I went up against a much less competitive player. It was a Deskbot player. He was a really cool guy, but I beat the ever-loving crap out of him. I started with a skill drain the second game, just won because of that, and he didn't draw very good the first game. Third game, I went up against like a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, who was playing a really, really bad Blue Eyes deck. He had one copy of Blue Eyes in there. Wow. He actually had to go a little bit into the first round. He actually just had to go because it was like literally past his bedtime, right? Or his parents wanted him home. Before he left, I did give him a spare Blue Eyes. I gave him a gold one out of my binder just because he has one copy of Blue Eyes in the Blue Eyes deck. I felt, I was like, oh kid, come on, here's a free Blue Eyes, you can't play Blue Eyes with one Blue Eyes. I could have gave him a third, but the only other one I had on me was the Kyber Evolution, which is the second artwork of Blue Eyes, which is my favorite artwork of Blue Eyes. I didn't want to give that away, but I gave him one. Last game, the fourth game, it was getting quite late, right? It was about 25 minutes or half an hour before the last train would come that Harry had to get. I knew I wasn't going to be able to finish the match, but I was playing against a Boojin player. Just before I had to leave, he had like a Kaiser Coliseum. I was playing against him. We were both at like a standstill, not really being able to make power plays. And I said, dude, I gotta leave. My friend has to go to Lost Train and everything, but you can have this match, it's fine. So I, picked up my stuff, and just before we left, I realized, oh shit, the train that I need to get back home after this train won't be running when we get there. Shit. So what do? Harry quickly looked up on his phone and found that I could get 2 night buses back. So I decided I would do that. So I walked with Harry to the station. We talked for a little bit. Train came. We met a very nice old guy there. I think he was Greek. I think he was from Greece. I can't remember. No, I think it was from Cyprus. I'm pretty sure it was Cyprus. Yeah, Harry talked to him on the train. He told me later he talked to the other guy on the train. He was kind of cool and everything. But I went back to the bus stop I needed to go to. I realized it's only 11. So, night buses don't start till 12. So I waited at the bus stop for an hour. I was actually there was like a wall, like a gradually taller wall. Like I had a step here, and I would just walk along that for like an hour, just like balancing and shit, just bored out my skull. Eventually, night bus came. So, night bus came, I scanned my my Oyster card, which is what we call the bus passes here, right? The bus cards that we use. I scanned that. Now, if you don't quite have, if you have too little money on it for a journey, it will still let you on, but it goes into negative. So next time you top it up, it will go back into positive. But what happens is it scans and then it beeps red. There's a little light that beeps red. It beeped red for me when I got on. So I was like, okay, I can't use this anymore. Luckily, I had a backup. I had a spare one on me, which is technically illegal. I knew that I had the spare one, so I was hoping that had something on it for me to get the second bus back. So it was like an hour journey, got to Trafalgar Square, which is where I needed to be. I waited at the bus stop and I tried to get the next bus. Scanned red, nothing on it. So I couldn't get that hit. The guy would not let me on, right? Especially at night, bus drivers here will not let you on. They will not give you a break. At all. So I said, shit, alright. I mean, it's like fucking 1 here. It's like 1 at night, 1 a.m. I thought to myself, I'm fucked. Nowhere's gonna be open where I can top up my card. I asked around, someone said, oh yeah, just around the corner, someplace you can top up. So I said, okay, cool, I'll be fine. But I didn't have any money. So before I went there, I stood in one of the busier parts, and I asked around, just people passing. Everyone was drunk or homeless here, and they were all hostile. But I would ask, hey, do you have a little bit of spare money? I just need to top up my card real quick to get home. Everyone looked at me like I was the fucking devil himself, right? They would not give me any money. It was a very stressing environment to be in. Yeah, like, people would just not give me a penny. This one lady did give me 50 pennies. But I knew that I could just use that to top up a little bit, and if I was at least in the positive slightly, I could still do what I did before, scan it, go into the negative, but still get the bus back. Now, before I went around the corner to this place to top up, I wanted to try and get a little bit more money just in case. There was this homeless guy that passed me a couple of times, and this one other time he passed me, I asked him for a little bit of money. I didn't know I was homeless, and he said, mate, I'm homeless, and I was like, oh, sorry. The next time he passed me, because he was going back and forth for some reason, he saw me standing there, he would look at me, we would nod to each other like, yeah, I see you again. He said to me, and this kind of stuck with me, he knew I wasn't homeless, but he said to me, you're the best dressed homeless guy here. That kind of stuck with me, because he knew I wasn't homeless. But what he was basically saying was that, doesn't matter if I'm homeless. To all of these drunk people and other hostile people around me, I might as well be. They're not going to give me money, right? These people aren't going to show any compassion to me. I might as well be homeless. To them, I might as well be asking for drugs, right? It's a harsh world. No one around me is going to give me a break. That kind of stuck with me a little bit, I was like, I know you've been through some shit, guy. You're cool. So I eventually went around the corner to this place to top up my card. Now, for some fucked up reason, they would not allow people to top up their card after midnight. Fuck, no, wouldn't have any of it. So I had 2 options. Either stay around Trafalgar Square all night around these hostile drunk people until somewhere in the morning where I can potentially wait to top up my card. Or try as hard as I can, every single bus that comes along that I need to get, try to get the bus driver to let me on. Scan my card, pretend I don't know there's no money on it, maybe try and walk on, see if they stop me. And nope. Didn't work. About 6 buses went by where I tried that. That was what I went for. I didn't want to wait. So I kept trying that. I tried it on about 6 buses. None of them would let me on. One of them even threatened to call the police. And I was like, shit. So I decided, okay, I need to come up with some lie to get me on the bus. I just wanted to get home. I didn't want to stay there all night. You know, I was really stressed out. I just didn't feel good. Like, I had, like, a stomachache. So I decided I really wanted to get home. So the next bus that would come along, I said to myself, okay, gonna tell a little bit of a lie. What I'm gonna do, scan my card. Once there's nothing on it, once that's been established, I would sort of panic a bit and go, oh, I need to get home. I gotta take some medication. A little bit of a lie, but I wanted to fucking get home. So the next bus came along, and I did that. He would not let me on, no matter how much I tried my best to put on my sob story. Eventually, next bus came along, and I scanned one card, didn't work, scanned the other, and then I started panicking a bit, and I said to him, oh god, I need to get home, I need to take some medication, right? I'm gonna faint with that, I need some medication. Like, I was playing it up, hamming it up, but I wanted to fucking get home. I apologize to any of you who do take really important medication that might be offended, I'm sorry, but I wanted to fucking get home badly. Eventually, after about 5 minutes of me sort of, you know, saying, oh, please, I really need to go home, he just said, fuck it, closed the doors and said, you know what? Fine, but if you get caught, you're gonna have a really big fine coming your way. Because there were cameras on the buses. And I knew that if he got caught, he'd be in deep shit too. You're not supposed to let people on if they can't pay. That's a really big deal here in London. So, I knew he was taking a bullet for me. He was a cool guy. I eventually got on the bus, I sat down, and I didn't sob my eyes out, but a few tears started coming down, and I started crying a little bit, because I was just fucking stressed. Because I'd been out with all those hostile fuckers out there, looking at me like I'm gonna fucking shoot someone. So, like, I had a few people, like, flip me off and say, you know, fuck you, homeless guy, and I was just like, oh shit, I'm not homeless, but alright. And, like, that didn't get to me, but it's just, like, just the atmosphere of how hostile it was, how tired I was, and I just couldn't, like, I didn't want to deal with that shit. And this one guy taking that bullet for me, I lied, granted, but, you know, the fact that he took a bullet for me, you know, was really cool. And I don't know, I cried a little bit. And that's essentially the story of how locals made me cry. I had a really cool time. Harry was awesome. It was a lot of fun. It was great meeting up with him, great going and playing. Eventually I did get home. I hadn't eaten all day, so I ate when I got home, and, you know, I talked to a couple of people. I had a couple Skype calls, and eventually I went to bed. But despite the slight like, when I look back at it, and me, like, sitting at the back of the bus, listening to music, and just, like, crying a little bit. Hey, you pansy, what the fuck are you doing? But that was the story of how locals made me cry, kinda. It was more so that particular environment of the locals, but if I hadn't have gone to the locals, I wouldn't have gotten in that environment, and I probably wouldn't have been so stressed out. But you know what? It was worth it. I still met up with my friend Harry. He was fucking cool. It was excellent hanging out with him. And, yeah, that was an enjoyable day for me, despite the shitty ending. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the story. I'm going to try to condense it so it's not as long. But thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it as always. If you want to hear more Yu-Gi-Oh! Story time, feel free to let me know. And look forward to the 100 subscriber special. I know I'm at like 120 now, but I have actually had something planned for 100 subscribers. I'm just waiting for some stuff to get in. But look forward to that. Hopefully it'll be up soon. Anyway, thank you so much for watching as always. I really appreciate it. Take care and duel on.